So, Bersabeh,
James.
we've been talking about the number one resource that we have at our disposal. What is that resource?
Time.
This is the test. Time. You nailed it. Time is the number one resource, and most people just don't use it very well.
No.
There's only two things you can do with time.
You could either invest it.
And if you invest it, what does it do for you?
Well, it has a return, has an ROI.
That's right. And isn't that a business word, business term? An ROI.
Oh, return on investment.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And what's the other thing you can do with it? If you don't invest
just
it,
spend it.
you spend it.
Waste it.
And if you spend it, it's gone forever. So let's talk about how to invest your time and how to use the alchemy of time. Let me just start off by saying this. The true test of character is not persistence when you see a light at the end of the tunnel. The true test of character is persistence when you don't see the light.
True.
To continue.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about that with regard to time and time alchemy. Time alchemy is transmuting low leverage time into highly productive time. But that's kind of a bit deceiving because ultimately low leverage activities are basically just low leverage. So utilizing your time in a low leverage way is what needs to be transmuted. Let's talk a little bit about the science behind this all. Modern science tells us that everything is comprised of what?
Energy.
Energy. Your house, your car, your body, your business, your bank account, it's all energy. So when it comes to productivity with your time and energy, there are two factors you must consider. There's stamina and there's endurance.
Yes.
Now, can you describe the difference, in your opinion, between stamina and endurance, Bersabeh?
Stamina is like a quick start. Ready to go. Go home.
That's right.
Woo!
The energy and ability to get started. And what's endurance then?
Endurance is to keep going.
Is to keep going when you don't see the light. To keep going. You see, most people that we deal with have some degree of stamina. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let me set some goals. Let me set some intentions. Let's go. Let's go do it. But very few have endurance. Many start, very few finish. And here's the harsh reality. You're probably not going to like this, but whatever you're going after is most probably going to take at least 2 times longer than you predict that it's going to take. And it's most likely going to cost 2 times as much. And so that's where endurance really comes in, because if you have stamina and it's going to take 2 times longer, then you fizzle out if you don't have endurance.
Yeah.
Now we're going to share a couple of, stamina is important, and we'll share a couple of insights on stamina in a minute. But here's another important understanding. The difference between a master and a beginner is that the master can stand in the face of no results for longer. Why do you always whisper?
I don't know. I think it makes it more mysterious.
Does it make it more mysterious?
Longer.
Longer. The difference between a master and a beginner is that the master has the ability to stand in the face of no results for longer. So next time we get together, we'll talk about endurance in our next session. But here are a few fundamentals to creating stamina, just to get started, to get going. First of all, decide what you choose to create. What is it you're going to create? And you have to make it specific, because vague and ambiguous intentions create vague and ambiguous
results.
Right? Secondly, decide what you're willing to sacrifice. Don't we talk about that word a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that so important?
Because you got to sacrifice something.
You always had to sacrifice something. There will always be a sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice for your goals and intentions, your goals and intentions will be
the sacrifice.
So decide what you're willing to sacrifice to achieve that specific thing. Then get started with the work.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you know to do right now. Right now. And allow what comes next to emerge as you move forward. You see, this is a big one. Do you get this? Because most people, once they set out to do something, what's the first question they ask themselves?
How am I going to do it?
How am I going to do it? Well,
How?
here's the reality. No one ever knew how
Until they did it.
until they did it. You know, no one ever knew how until it was done. So do what you know to do right now and allow what comes next to emerge as you move forward. You know, take a couple of steps and the next step will present itself for you. We talked last time about the C6. What's the C6, Bersabeh?
It's the critical 6.
And what is
Six.
that?
It's the 6 most important important and productive things that you have to get done today.
Today, not tomorrow, but today. It's your daily plan. Once you have clarity on your vision and intention, you see, you don't need a 10-year plan.
No.
You don't even need a 1-year plan in this fast-moving world. You need a 1-day plan that's broken down into 1-hour plans. Let me repeat that because that's really important. You know, it used to be really in vogue when I was in college, you know, when I went to school, to write a business plan. And
I don't think that happens anymore.
No, it doesn't because things happen too fast. You don't have time or a need for a business plan. And you certainly don't need a 10-year plan or a 1-year plan. What you need is a 1-day plan. And that's what the C6 will give you. And that's broken down into 1-hour plans. You know, productive hours lead to productive days. Productive days lead to productive weeks, productive months, productive years. So get on with the work. That's stamina. Hopefully those are a few tips that'll help you get started. We'll talk more about how to stay started and how to endure in our next session.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being here. God bless.